Then begins its COVID-19 vaccine rollout today. Premier Sihle Zikalala and Health MEC Nomagugu Smelane Zulu will oversee the first inoculations at the Prince Mshieni Memorial Hospital in Umlazi. Our reporter Mawande Keswa is there and joins us now. Good morning to you, Mawande. What can be expected today in terms of the KZN vaccine rollout?
Good morning, Dumelo. Well, I think it's important to first speak about the importance of the vaccination or the vaccine rollout in KZN, because you will recall that it's almost been a year since patient 0 came to the fore. That was the first patient in which coronavirus was detected in the country, and that was all the way in Hilton in the province. And that makes this day that much more significant, because this was pretty much where it came to be, and this is also the province in which now we're receiving this vaccine. Now, there are 2 vaccination sites at this point if we speak about this current rollout. The first is Prince Mshieni Memorial Hospital, where we are at this moment, and the second is Albert Luthuli Hospital. Now, if we look at the province as a whole, we have just over 160,000 healthcare workers, and they are set to be the first to benefit from this. If we look at the first vaccine, and that was the AstraZeneca, the Premier had mentioned a number of about 89,000 healthcare workers in the public sector and about 41,000 in the private sector. However, we do expect those numbers to change, because the vaccine in itself has changed when we look at the rollout. Now, we are expecting the Premier to brief us not long from now in terms of what we expect the numbers of the healthcare workers that are going to benefit from this first rollout and what we can expect moving forward, and also to give us a clearer picture as to the number of vaccines that we have received as a province.
Just in terms of the healthcare workers there, I'm not sure if you had an opportunity, Mawande, to speak to some of them. Are they optimistic about, getting the jab? Have they registered to get the jab, or are there still concerns in terms of, understanding if this jab will be effective or not?
We haven't really had a chance to speak to any healthcare workers to get an idea of how they are feeling. But as far as the department is concerned, they are quite upbeat and believe that these vaccines will go a long way in aiding healthcare workers who've been in the forefront, fighting and assisting when we look at containing, testing, as well as managing COVID-19. We had seen that quite a number of them had succumbed to COVID-19 related complications. A number of them had also been infected. We recall that unions were up in arms over PPEs, the number of infections among healthcare workers, as well as the deaths. So it is quite important that they are now going to be getting a little bit more help in the way of the vaccines. And it is also worth noting that when you look at the healthcare department, healthcare workers and unions, they had turned the tide in the sense that they were at loggerheads in the beginning. But over time, it seemed as though they were reaching common ground around issues of PPE. And the unions had also spoken and said that they had welcomed the vaccination, and it's something that they themselves were looking forward to. And that is the voice that we've had when it comes to the healthcare workers themselves.
All right, then, Mawande Keswa, that's where we leave it. Thank you so much, colleague, for this update.